G'day, John. How you going?
Yeah, everything's okay, Paul. Good to see you again. How are you?
Great, thank you. Great. This is number three, I think. So I do have a question for this week. It's about Fire from the Sky.
Oh, the reissue done by Matt Marder, Iron Pages. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good project, that one.
cool.
Yep.
My question is track nine. So track nine, for some reason, is called Touche Me.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm
Quick,
kind of
yeah,
curious.
quickly, it's a typo on the part of the um, manufacturer. Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, it was just a typo.
oh,
Um, but there is a little interesting tale.
oh, okay. Tell.
Well, we have seen a number of bootleg copies of that
Right.
floating around the internet. Um, some have got extra tracks on. I guess they're not pressed discs, they must be burned ones with copied sleeves, but some of them they've changed the track listings. I don't know whether they feel that that's in some way negated their responsibility as bootleggers.
Right.
Um, and some have added tracks as well, extra tracks that they've found of Denigh.
Okay.
On some of the bootleg copies I've seen, the spelling mistake has been corrected,
Proofreaders out there, right?
which is bizarre.
Yeah.
That is strange, especially when you think that perhaps what they've done is just photocopied the sleeve. That's what you'd think they might have done.
Yeah.
But there's certainly one bootleg out there, and I think you can buy it now.
Yeah,
It's
right.
still on sale with four bonus tracks. And in the track listing, Touch Me is spelt correctly
Right.
rather than
Touche.
Touche Me. So, touche to you, Paul,
And
and
then-
well done for spotting it.
Okay.
I'll just say one other thing, though, that people might be interested in. It's no big secret. I don't think our dear friends at O&R Records, who released the self-titled disc,
Yeah.
are uh, are waiting in the wings to hopefully re-release Fire from the Sky, the whole album in its original form, without bonus tracks.
Okay.
We think CD. We'd like vinyl, and we've prepped the sleeve design. They want a booklet inside. It won't be like the Iron Pages release that you just held up. It will be like the original sleeve.
Yeah.
So when they asked if they could do it, we obviously spoke with Matt at Iron Pages, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead. Do what you want." Um, because obviously they had an interest in it back in 2000
Yeah.
or whenever it was done. But we can't use that sleeve. And in actual fact, it's far better if we use the original sleeve,
Yeah.
which is me, Johnny, Phil, and Harry tumbling in the sky. It's kind of prepped and ready to go. So
Cool.
that'll be an interesting release.
Any thoughts on time frames? It'll be this year or next year or
Well, we're hoping this year. Carl is obviously orchestrating the event in his own magical way. He's in communication with George at ONR, and as far as I'm aware, it's more or less ready to go. It's just waiting upon Carl's timing, what and George what they feel they want to do and when.
mm,
Um,
cool.
I must say, it was quite a bit of fun for me fairly recently sorting through pictures for a booklet that George requested and finding lots of pictures of Phil and Harry, me as well, Johnny. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, those pictures are available on the website. We've put a lot of those pictures up anyway.
Yeah.
Denigh.com.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, they're going to be in this booklet, and yeah, we're really, really pleased.
Cool.
Obviously, we're into March now.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, nothing has been sent to George yet, and of course, it takes them a couple of 3 months to get it all produced. So it's going to be mid 24 at the earliest, but probably the next bit
Towards
after
the
that,
end, yeah.
mid to late. Yeah.
Red River War off the new album,
Well, yeah.
Back in the Game. So that's had some extra press as well, hasn't it? Because I think that was picked up by a museum or something.
Yeah, the curator of museum in Texas that was they were planning last year to run an anniversary 150-year anniversary display,
Okay.
and the curator Chris, whilst surfing the net, came across our track, played it, liked it,
Awesome.
contacted us, asked if they could use it for their display or in the room. They've sent us some great pictures of the display as well. It's and we included those on Facebook. I think they're on the gallery today and into the future page.
Okay.
I'm sure there are some there, but he asked if he could use the track, and of course, we said, yeah.
That's great. That's really cool.
I know. We were so pleased with that.
Yeah.
And obviously Carl has given them a special license to use it whenever they want.
Brilliant. That's quite I was going to say flattering, but that's not what I mean.
It is.
Yeah.
It is flattering.
Yeah.
It is, you're right. And we're so pleased about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he sent some great pictures as well.
Mm-hmm.
Reenactments, and there's his son firing a Gatling gun.
Wow.
And I'm so jealous. I want one. I've got a son already. It's the Gatling gun.
You went where I was going, but yeah, that was something. There are links to the museum site on Denigh.com.
I think it's Red Deer Land or something.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it must have been that the story on the song must be factually accurate then for them to take it on.
Of course, when we wrote it, one of our early demos, we were concerned that we didn't want to offend anyone, of course, but the song we felt might be slightly biased.
Mm-hmm.
I asked Carl to ask Chris if he felt there was anything contentious maybe in it, because I think for all concerned it was a pretty big event, these wars. But Chris said it's factual. Well, that happened then, that is then, now is now, it's different. So we were happy with that. The fact that it's historically accurate, I'm pleased we got the right facts. I have to say, it is one of my favorites. I love the power in it. I can remember talking with Ian rather about the drums, and we both agreed they needed to have that sort of slogging beat to them, the big sound. And of course I wanted to put Cannon in there as well, but
yeah,
I just got this long cold stare from Ian. You might remember that one.
I do remember that one. Yes. Very good.
And I just knew to say no more,
Otherwise you'd be in the streets. Yeah,
don't bring it up again.
No.
It brings me round to briefly that I was hoping today we'd be with Ian as well, but sadly he's unable. But
maybe next time.
Yeah, hopefully. He's keen.
Yeah, I'm keen too. It's been 42 years maybe since I last spoke to Ian.
Yeah, wow.
I was wondering if you remembered the story behind that picture.
Yeah, taken in the freight forwarders office in Eastern Docks.
It was, yeah, it was where I used to work. Do you remember why that photograph was taken there?
Maybe because we could.
Hmm, no.
No.
So that's where I used to work.
Yes,
And I worked for a shipping and freight forwarding company, and we were going to France.
we were.
Yeah, to play 2 days, two dates. I think it was an evening and like a festival thing at a play
Little
house.
mini, like a
Yeah,
little mini tour.
mini
Yeah.
tour. So back in the day, it was 1980 or 81. That was before the UK was in the EU.
Yeah.
And because we were essentially exporting all of the gear, I had to do a carnet
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
transfer stuff. So you say, look, we're taking this out of the country, but we're going to bring it all back.
Yeah.
And because I worked in shipping and freight forwarding at the time, I did the carnet because you had to put all the product name, all the guitars and all their serial numbers and the makes and the models and the color. And luckily, a friend of mine worked at, I think it was LEP, and they used to do Edwin Shirley trucking. And
Oh yeah.
he lent me a copy of a carnet, and it just happened to be Queen. So he'd done the carnet for Queen when they did their European tour. So whereas they had like 150 sets of guitar strings, electric guitar strings, and 25 sets of bass strings, and two drum kits, and 100 sticks, and I think I ran to about 10 or 12 pages. I think
We had half a side.
we had a page and a half, I think. Yeah. So, but it was a lot of work, a lot of work for, for a day and a half or something when we were over there. But it was just interesting. So in the photograph, there's some really telling stuff in there. So typewriters, no computers to be seen. We used to have a telex, and we used to prepare the telex tapes with all the manifests of all the tracks that we were sending overseas to the agents that were clearing at the other end, and you'd run the tape through, and there's a typewriter with a telephone attached to it. So it's quite an interesting photograph. That's on the website as well.
As you said earlier, it's one of the photos I've recently colorized,
Yeah,
and it comes out really great that way.
it does look good.
Although there are some in that series I know that are even better. But one thing I noticed that you do not see now, and that is there is a rather nice calendar on the back wall.
I had a lot more hair then as well. So,
Yeah, we all did, funnily enough.
oh yeah.
Back in the day, you relied on people with cameras. The thing we understand and realize is that the amount of pictures that we've got are finite. It's a very limited amount, really. But the amount that we have discovered is really gratifying, that we can show what we got up to in a lot of things. And that one picture does say a lot.
Yeah. It says a lot about the time as anything. The things we take for granted, like we've got all these computers and all this technology. I mean, there weren't even mobile phones back then,
No. And amongst that series, I have colorized one of the pictures taken of our French support band. Now, I wonder where those guys are now, what they're up to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember when we opened our set on that gig. Do you remember much about it, Paul?
No, I don't.
We set off all the smoke in complete darkness.
Yeah.
And we knew that at the front of the stage there were quite a lot of people, the French audience. They'd come up to the front. And then, of course, with all the smoke coming out of the machine, Phil started with a guitar solo intro. And by the time the lights came up, everybody from the front of the stage had run.
Loud.
They came back. They came back. Um,
The patronage was a lot older than we expected. It was every age group, right? From
well, yeah, I recall that. I recall that it went down well. I mean, the kids were screaming.
yeah. We sold
Hopefully, they were enjoying themselves. Yeah, and we sold a lot of discs
a lot of singles, yeah.
recording in Chris Ashman's studio.
Mm.
Uh, Me, Phil, and Johnny had already been there. But obviously, our very first recording with Denigh, Steve Maddock was the lead guitarist. So Steve had never been there. Ian had never done it. Um, Chris's studio was in a basement,
Yeah.
or in his basement.
Yeah.
Uh, it was probably over sound deadened. I'm sure you remember that, Paul.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was over. It went down. It was super sound deadened.
Hurt your ears. It was so
Yeah,
quiet, so dead.
that
Yeah,
might have been for the benefit of the neighbours.
sure.
Yeah, we learned a lot really there from Chris and using his studio,
Yeah.
as a lot of local bands did. It wasn't as easy to record yourself as it is now.
No, no.
You record yourself at home. You couldn't easily get away with it. We didn't have access to multi-track machines, and in fact, I think during our time, the first 8-track demo that we did, just labeled Denigh,
Mm.
with Steve, that was 4-track. But Fire from the Sky, I'm pretty sure was 8 when we did that.
Yeah.
And of course, we did a few demos in between times as well.
So Chris would have done the single as well, did he? Did he do?
No, we did that at Oakwood Studios it was on Thanet. Graham Quinton Jones ran that, engineered it. Andy McPherson came over and he knew we were going there. But, I think he actually just turned up. I don't know whether we invited him. I didn't think we did.
Okay.
Not that he was welcome. In fact, he was very welcome. Andy really helped us get the driving in it, the driving sound in it, because we did it live basically. But he came into the recording room and was, doing this in time to gee us along, if you like. Of course, we look back on that single and we're very pleased we did it. And it does sound to us very dated, but people love it.